What we do here is go back.
My girlfriend started an OnlyFans account. I think all of it is cool. Yeah.
Ian Washburn, or iDubbbz, is someone that the entire commentary community inspired to be like. So how did someone that had the most respect you could ask for on YouTube have such a downfall with their credibility as hard as a YouTube being outed for being a criminal?
Well, I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake.
Well, most of it comes to the type of audience he decided to attract. When iDubbbz became well known online, he decided to make himself a very edgy lad. Ian had a series on his channel called Bad Unboxing, where he would unpack all the things his viewer decided to gift him. Some of the items in the videos are very strange. Sometimes they are bongs and anal beads, or just giant dildos. And because they knew iDubbbz as an edgy guy, it was all just to see his reaction, with one of his viewers just writing on a piece of paper, N-word and F-slur.
Oh, it's a single piece of paper that says...
This phrase became a meme on the iDubbbz channel, with him repeating this phrase in other videos after this one, with his audience finding it funny for the pure shock value, because no one at this time in YouTube had the same balls he did. I'm sure you are all familiar with the series Content Cop, where Ian would sit down and dive into why he didn't like a certain creator or genre on YouTube, with his first one being on Jinx. It was more of a critique on Jinx content and why his videos are nothing more than just boring reaction videos that steal other people's content. His most popular ones being on Leafy is Here and Rice Gum, with both of them being down in today's time, and we'll get onto that later. On March 9th, 2020, Anissa, iDubbbz's girlfriend at the time, decided to make an OnlyFans account that she announced on Twitter. And if you were around at that time, you would know everyone decided to dogpile against Ian. This was mainly because his fanbase was under the impression that this would have been something Ian himself would be against and mock. And while Ian never really made fun of sex workers, it was never really clear of what his opinion was on them in the past, but his fans were under the impression that he was dating a slut. After the outrage on Twitter against him and his wife of pure mockery, iDubbbz, in my opinion, then made one of the most defensive videos ever. This wasn't in defense of himself, but more so for his wife, Anissa, and defending sex workers as a whole, and even said that he thinks it's pretty cool.
I think all of it is cool.
Now, the guy wanting to defend his wife isn't really the issue for most people. He decided to attack his entire audience as a whole, and mocking the people that enjoyed his content, such as Content Cop.
Edward, I don't know where you got the idea that I was cool. Do you think it was cool when I was playing with anal beads? It's cool when I play with anal beads. Do you think it was cool when I was running around in an oversized cop outfit? That was cool to you.
This led people that weren't even attacking iDubbbz at the time to also be targeted in his video, because a lot of people just enjoyed his content, but the way he spoke about it, saying, wow, you actually liked it when I was in a police outfit? While it sounds petty to say that this was the first sign of betrayal, I do think iDubbbz was aware of the loyalty of his fans, and that he must have known that this was going to be a dangerous card for him to play. But what I must say is, the points in today's time, if you were to look at them, are fair in my opinion. The dude just supports his wife for making an OnlyFans account. While I do think myself that I would never be in a relationship like iDubbbz, I think it isn't fair to attack a relationship just because it's alien to everyone else. What also didn't help that this was the time when Leafy returned to YouTube and decided to post a 30-second video on him just calling iDubbbz a cuck.
And I think all of it is cool. Yeah, I know.
Dude, you're a fucking cuck.
A lot of people at the time were saying that this was the response that leaves Leafy with the W. While it did seem like that then, I just see it as Leafy kicking a man while he's down. People also decided to bring up the fact that Anissa used to be a huge Leafy fan back in the day, and was saying that she was a simp for him.
I'm actually sad to hear At Leafy Is Here is taking a break. I've always had a soft spot for you, dude. Hope all is well. Ah, the break that your now boyfriend made Leafy go on. At Leafy Is Here. Do you swallow though? At Leafy Is Here. Why am I never in your videos? Do I need to lower the cost of money to get me to bend over? What, she wants to bend over for Leafy? At Leafy Is Here, I will shield you from the storm with my breasts, my son. At Leafy Is Here. Whoa, wait. You replied with an acronym representing you laughing? Are we dating now? Clearly she likes Leafy. It's no secret. She's tweeting him all of his weird shit.
To be honest, I don't see the relevance with the situation. For me, it is hard to say why in specific to why iDubbbz fans hated the idea of him dating someone with an OnlyFans. iDubbbz gave his thoughts on the H3 podcast, where he says how he thinks it was because of the Tanner content cop he made.
Yeah, so what happened? I mean, in your perspective,
Well,
your guys' perspective.
Well, from my perspective, it was basically like, I think I'd given off this persona of like not liking promiscuous women, or like thoughts, e-girls, sluts, whatever you want to say. I think people like saw my video with Tana, not with Tana, about Tana, and thought like, oh yeah, like he doesn't like people like this, and we will collectively like laugh and point at and make fun of.
To be honest, I still think the reason to why his audience turned on him so quickly was because of the response he gave. Because I wouldn't mind betting that over time, people would start to make fun of the people policing his relationship. People also decide to mention how Anissa was very critical to iDubbbz in 2017. DMs were leaked where she was saying how she is breaking up with Ian because he only cares about the videos, and how he has a YouTube ego and treats her bad. To be honest, these messages mean nothing to me, since they have clearly sorted their shit out over time. This was just a relationship problem aired publicly. Where have I seen that before? It was used as a jab against Ian. However, I do think it was strange of Anissa to just go out and say that she would understand if iDubbbz's channel got terminated because of the type of videos he makes. This was her defense when the Leafy content cop got taken down, by the way. A while after the drama of people telling Ian to break up with Anissa, people like Diesel Patches decided to make a video on the situation where he was basically telling Ian to break up with Anissa. Come on guys, it makes sense to date someone that Diesel Patches approves of. I mean, even in the original video Diesel made, he changed the title to Outdated.
An appropriate response would be to call out his fake-ass girlfriend to break up with her and admit he was wrong. And yes, I do think breaking up with her is the right thing to do. If you haven't noticed, she's kind of a toxic cunt.
I want to direct more attention on iDubbbz talking about his older content in a way to mock his fans for making fun of his wife. We can see there is a tone difference with how he speaks about this content, and I think it was highlighted really well in the interview he did with Anthony Padilla. Now, I know talking about this video can be dangerous, because one of my friends, Cluster, made a video on this interview, and people were leaving comments saying how they are going to report the video, just because they disagree with his opinion. There is a section in this interview where iDubbbz is basically just going after his fans pretty hard. He basically explains how he dislikes the audience he attracted. If you know iDubbbz's content well, you would know the phrase N-word F-slur. You know, the one I showed earlier? This was essentially iDubbbz's catchphrase back in the day, and the N-word was a big part of his comedy. iDubbbz describes his fans in the video as basement dwellers, people that don't leave their room and are just right freaks to society.
I did not like the interactions that I had with fans. There were quite a few human beings that I interacted with.
In person?
Yeah, in person, that just sucked. They just sucked because I attracted a lot of people who sucked. Some people were, as I described earlier, were very much like antisocial, weird, basement dwellers, and you know, the one time a month that they come out of their cave is going to restock on supplies at Walmart, and they run into me, their favorite YouTuber.
Which is kind of the lifestyle you were living at the time.
Yeah, exactly. I don't blame them.
And what would they say? What would they do?
Things that I am certainly not going to repeat. I'm talking bad words, cringy behavior that, like, maybe I'd do in a video because I got a camera pointed at me. There'd be some of that energy matched in person, and it's like, oh, maybe not.
I think iDubbbz needs to be a bit more self-aware, where he would explain how his fans would use bad words in public. Let's not forget, this was the same guy that drove to a YouTuber event, lined up just to see them to take a video next to them, saying the N-word. With this type of edgy content, you are going to have a very edgy audience. Some of these people are probably seeing their favorite YouTuber for the first time, and in a way they want to connect with that YouTuber, and they want to do that in a way they think you will laugh, because this is how iDubbbz portrayed himself in his videos. It does personally sound kinda crap, but who is more to blame? The grown adult that made the content for these people, or the fans wanting to interact with one of their favorite YouTubers by using the same sense of humor that he did in his videos? I don't think using the phrase "it's just an act" is gonna last forever, and I don't think it's very valid. I think it is also worth mentioning that after this video dropped on Anthony's channel, almost like a day later, the most viewed video on his channel, the Rice Gum Content Cop, was taken down via a false copyright strike. I can only assume this was one of Ian's fans that were upset by his comments about his fan base. This isn't a fact, I'm just assuming. iDubbbz also mentions how Anissa has actually helped him with many videos in the past that the fans have enjoyed the most, such as Content Cop. I don't think it is worth speculating that this is a lie, because he just wants his fans to accept her. I generally believe him when he says this. I just don't think it is going to change anything, since his fans have already made up their mind on how they feel about Anissa. And when you are outright insulting your fans, the people that gave you a career, you are just really shooting yourself in the foot. Just to defend iDubbbz yet again, I do have to point out again that the original video he made in 2020 didn't actually have that many bad points in it. It just came across very defensive, and it only became really bad when he decided to insult his audience, because it also showed that he was being a bit insecure. I want to talk about his attitude changing towards his own content. In 2017, iDubbbz went on to the H3 podcast. He spoke about the Content Cops, and it comes across like it is really rewarding to make these videos, because they were big projects he was working on.
But the Keemstar one and the Leafy one, I felt good because it was fun to be creative. It was fun to do the gnome thing in the sewer.
Like, you were in touch with us when you were collecting information about those videos, I remember, and you worked on them for a while.
Yeah, no, you're in there.
It was like a project.
It's an actual project. Because it's like it feels good because it's like such a project. You know what I mean? I like the idea of having shit you can churn out on like a daily basis, but like some slow building stuff is
something in the background that you work on.
Slow cook's always the best.
Yeah.
Some slow cooking.
Like that soft, moist meat.
But in recent times, iDubbbz believes that his content didn't have much of an impact on him. The same videos he once felt good about don't give him that happy feeling. But granted, he hasn't made a content cop since 2017, when he had the opinion that these were good videos. So I'm not sure how he doesn't feel the same excitement, since he hasn't made one since his last talk about it on the H3 podcast. Now, if iDubbbz generally feels like this about his content, then I can totally respect that. I think it does become a bit of a shame to the audience, since iDubbbz has insulted them, and when he speaks about content cop, you can tell he isn't exactly proud of these videos. Now, in all honesty, I think his fans also need to calm down, because at the end of the day, he is just a guy making videos online for a laugh. But it makes sense to why it would be disappointing. iDubbbz has come out recently saying that he will be making another content cop. If you are a content cop fan, I wouldn't be too excited, and here is why. Me and my friend Narcolept have a theory that this is just going to be a content cop on his former self, a way to move on from the past. I could be completely wrong, but it's something I assume will happen.
Oh, do you want to hint at maybe what else you're going to do on your main channel? You don't have to say who it's
about. On my main channel, I'm going to be addressing controversies, and I'm going to be putting out be putting out a content cop.
Yes! Oh, let's fucking go, baby!
A content cop about controversy, related to controversies?
That might be, that might be,
sure. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a content cop.
This is a very vague tease, so don't get like too excited.
Have you filmed it? It's in, is it being edited? How deep in the process
No, it's just, now that this stupid event's done with, I can focus on my true passions, making content cops.
Well, that's something to look forward to. That's exciting.
He doesn't seem too excited about the idea of a content cop. If it is what I think it is, then this will be the nail in the coffin for how iDubbbz has treated his audience, and is now trying his best to shift away. This isn't something that Ian has to keep wanting to do, so it makes sense in a way. I know some of you are probably still confused by the title, but if this is how it's becoming with the iDubbbz channel, then I wouldn't mind saying that this was in a way leading on an audience, which in my opinion is a fancy way of saying betrayal. I also wouldn't be surprised if after that video comes out, the other content cops will be deleted from the channel. To be honest, I respect whatever decision he makes, since it is his platform. It will be interesting to see how it ends for the iDubbbz we once knew, or I could just be completely wrong and just made myself look like a retard. Oh well! If you have enjoyed this video, a super thanks is appreciated but not expected. Please check out Narco and Cluster. They're good friends of mine and I think they've made pretty good videos. Link to their channels will be in the description box down below. I've been WackyTV, and until next time, iDubbbz is a simp!